a budgeting cloud service, PBCS project that business development with the Bean Consulting Group. Thank you for joining us today, and really apologize with the GoToMeeting issues. Not exactly sure why we had those issues a little bit earlier today, but I'm just going to start right from the beginning. For those of you that are on a time crunch, feel free to just email us and we can send you out a recording of this demo. So look forward to jumping into this, and again, thank you all for sticking with us. We're going to go over today's agenda, and here we have a look at what the Bean Consulting Group is about, what we've done. We'll have a look also at the Oracle Planning and Budgeting Cloud Services, the reason that we're here today, which is the PBCS solution. We'll also have a live product demo, and then some time for questions and answers. So again, the Bean Consulting Group, we've been going on 6 years now, and we're an Oracle Gold partner. We specialize in S-Base and planning, and we also became specialized by Oracle for the cloud services that we offer as well. So some of the other solutions that we work with is Oracle S-Base, HFM, and FDM, and we also have great experience with higher education, utilities, financial services, healthcare, and telecommunications, and we work with organizations, both large and small, across all sectors. The reason that we're here today, again, is to talk about PBCS and the obstacles that exist. We talk about Excel spreadsheets being our #1 competitor out in the marketplace here at the Bean, and the reason for that is there's so many people, right, that know the look and feel of Excel and just are so comfortable working within that. Now, I'm included with that as well. But the reason and the problem that goes along with using Excel is that there's data quality issues that exist. It's standalone, which means, you know, we've got a number of different companies or organizations that have employees that can move on, right, to different departments or other companies, and they might have been the ones that were, you know, the founder of the file in Excel that did the planning and budgeting for their company. And over time, those iterations of that spreadsheet change. So it's real rigid and inflexible as we see it. And then also the methodologies that go along with that. We've got disjointed strategic targets. What if modeling in a lot of cases doesn't even exist? A rolling forecast can be a problem, and there's no driver-based plans. What this really leads to is that the management focus is, you know, really delayed, right? We look at the average time to plan in a cycle is 6 to 7 months, and that's not really great for this day and age, especially with data that can be, you know, had in real time. And that's the nice thing about PBCS, is that it's real-time data, it's real-time decision-making for your management team, and you can be up and running very soon with this solution. Here's a look at, again, Oracle, what they've done with this solution. They have added very robust reporting with this and analysis. It's very easy to use, as you'll be able to see within the demo. And then it's rapid time to value. So your users can get up and running very quickly, and then your management team can be reporting on the information very soon as well. Here's a look at a graph on the right-hand side here, and this talks about Oracle being 35% owning the planning and budgeting market. And this is important because Hyperion has been around really since the mid-90s, and Oracle acquired Hyperion in 2007. So every time we did updates on the software, it's been based off of customer feedback. So you've got the experience of both the Oracle employees and the Hyperion employees that have made better iterations of the software, again, since the mid-90s. We talked about world-class planning. Again, it's fast adoption, right? It's the cloud now, so you can adopt this in a matter of weeks and not months. Best-in-class functionality. Again, we've been doing this since 1995 with the company Hyperion, and then it was acquired in 2007 So we've really been able to come up with best-in-class processes and best-in-class functionality. We talk about flexible deployment. The deployment for PBCS is very flexible in that, if you're an organization that needs to be up and running, perhaps you made an acquisition or that you're adding a new division, you can add this within, again, a matter of weeks. And then we also have other organizations out there that just use this as a test environment. So that might be something that your organization might want to consider as well. Again, the best-in-class functionality. This is Oracle, right? So we've been around for quite a while. Hyperion has been around, again, since the mid-90s. So they've come up with very flexible workflow, plan management capabilities. It's very intuitive web design, a web interface, and it's got Excel integration. So we realize that you're using Excel. We don't want you to give up on that. We have a tool called SmartView that's going to allow you to both work with Excel and to move data into the PBS system, to move that into the cloud, which is going to be really important for your users to adapt this. It's got built-in management capabilities and reporting capabilities, and supports rolling forecasts and, once again, the best practices. So over the years, we've really become pros at planning and budgeting, and that's why we have 35% of the total market. We're going to look at a demo today as well. And before I get into that, we just want to set it up for the company that we're going to be looking at. And this is Vision Inc. It happens to be a fictitious company. It's a manufacturing company based in the U.S. that makes computer software equipment, so laptops, your desktops, and tablets. And they also do consulting and training services. Vision uses PBCS, and it's in its Q2 2013 planning cycle. And they also use a 12-month rolling forecast that is updated quarterly. So with that, let's jump in to the solution. And I'm going to start right from the beginning here. So we're going to pull up PBCS through Firefox and show you the functionality of PBCS. So just give us a second here to sign in. Okay, after it's signing in, again, I want to just reiterate, Oracle has already, to date, has over 200 customers running this. So there's definitely some incentives that Oracle has provided, but we're getting very good response from customers, from prospects too, and getting up and running with PBCS. And here's the first look at the screen for PBCS. You have your launch applications. This is what we're going to do to bring up Vision, the fictitious company. You've got your admin tools as well. And your admin tools, this is where your more technical people, your technical folks are going to go in and make some changes. You have the ability also to go in and set your backup schedule. So it requires a 1-hour backup during a 24-hour period, so you can set that schedule up as you'd like. Then you have your tools here, again, for your more technical folks that make changes. And then your admin tutorials. And this is a nice feature because it gives your folks a good indication and a good outlook and training program to get up and running with PBCS. Along with that, you have the ability to watch the demos that come along with this too. So really fast adoption, and your users, your employees, business end users can learn at their own speed and watch the videos to get them up and running, as well as the documentation. So for those that want to dive deep and dig into more the nuts and bolts of the system, they can find great documentation here. This happens to be the simplified interfaces. This is going to be the next iteration of PBCS, and we've got a chance perhaps a little bit later in this demo to see the face of what that looks like, but some good things coming down the pike with the next iteration of PBCS as well. So let's jump into the application, and we're going to go into Vision. Again, this is our fictitious company. And we'll be able to take a look at the task list that and the workflow that your business end users, your management team will be looking at. Okay, if you look at the left-hand side here, here are the forms. This, again, is going to be a little bit more for your admin, for your technical folks that are going to start building forms within the forecast plan. In this case, it's the long-range plan. And then you have your forms within the plan. So you can take a look at some of the ones that they have custom built already, which is your actual versus plan, your cash flow, financial statements, global assumptions. Then you have your managed task list. That's what we'll be going through. We'll actually be looking at my task list, and those will be what your business end users and management will be looking at. Here we have the dimension. This, again, is going to be a little bit more for your more technical users that can make changes that perhaps your business end users are requesting. And then any of the business rules security. So once again, your more technical users will be jumping into this to make any changes for the rule security. And there might be some preferences here too that the business end user wants to look at. Again, this is more of an admin functionality. And then you have here your diagnostics. And this also is more for your technical folks to read to see how the system is doing, making sure that everything is running smoothly for your organization. So let's jump into my task list. And this is really what we're going to be going over today. That's the good stuff in terms of what planning and budgeting has to offer, especially in the cloud. Here you have your managed planning process, and this is going to be more of a top-down approach. So your management team, your executives are going to be focused on this. Your operating plan is going to be your bottom-up. So this is going to be more of your business end users really looking at the details, updating data, making any changes, and that's what we'll be looking at today as well. So your management team might come into this first page and have a nice dashboard, right, and a look to see what is being offered here and what your tasks are that are for each of your departments. You'll have the start date, the end date, any alerts that might be needed for you to either have a discussion with the owners of the department or owners of a particular task, and then what the completed date is. So then, again, just a nice overview. We'll go into the plan kickoff. And again, this is from a management perspective. They'll have a chance to take a look at a strategic dashboard. And this shows some of the 4 major factors. And again, this is just for vision, but the 4 major driving factors for them happens to be earnings per share, earnings comparison, market price comparison, and then your shareholder value. And it's based on 3 different scenarios that they have set up. So it's a baseline acquisition, so the company might be looking to acquire somebody, and the plan will show what that acquisition will look like, and then an expansion as well. Here's where you're going to be able to allocate your targets for a specific plan. So we talked about the different scenarios. Here we have this expansion scenario that we can choose and select here, acquisition or baseline. For our demo purposes, we're going to just choose expansion. And then we're going to allocate what that target is going to be. So I'm right-clicking right now on my mouse, and we're going to allocate the plan targets for the expansion plan. And your allocated targets will show up on the bottom tier. Let me okay this so that we can move forward and collect the data. And there you have it. So it automatically provides what an expansion scenario plan is going to be looking like. So this is the plan that we're going to be working off of. And then you can drill into this as well. So you can drill down in deep and see a little bit more detail also. Here's where we can set the global assumptions. So you've got your operating expense plan assumptions Here are the drivers. So you've got your percentage of revenue, square feet, your hours, the method that's going to be here. So it could be last year's actuals plus or minus percentage, and your rate also. And for looking at this in detail and being able to make some manual changes to the balance sheet, here you have the drivers listed here. What's nice, and when you're in this sheet, is that you have the ability to make any changes within the cell. So you can edit and do a cut, copy, paste, or clear. You can make other adjustments. We'll go into a better example for grid spread later, but a nice thing here also is you can make comments, right? So for anybody that's coming later into the plan to review something, review a number, you can have comments in these cells as well, to keep them up to date and have them understand the numbers that are listed there if need be. Here's where we can actually start the approval process, so management can kick this off. Here's another dashboard that they can look at, and we'll go into a little bit more detail to see how we start the process and get this going. We're going to look at the tree view, dig into it a little deeper here to see where we actually click the button to start the processes off. So you've got your planning units listed here. Management will start the process and get the bottoms-up approach once they start going through the operating plan. You'll have the approval status, so whether it's under review, has it not been started yet, and has it been completed. It'll also show if it's been completed. You have the current owner, so you know who's owning this project and what department as well. And we looked at the different scenarios, right? So you can create multiple plans as a user, and this gives you some of the other scenarios that you can be using, whether it's actual, forecast plan, revised plan, and the version too. So whether it's a working plan, best case, most likely, revised, what if, worst case. So a lot of different options here to review different plans. I'm going to jump into the operating plan. Again, we talk about bottom up. This is going to be for your business end users, and when they go into this, they get to see, again, a nice looking dashboard that tells them where they're at with a particular plan under a specific task, and you can see the tasks listed right here, which really match the tasks here on the left-hand side. So you have your start date, your end date, again, any alerts, when it was completed, so a nice overview of the operating plan. Let's dig into this a little bit deeper here, and we're going to jump over to review actual versus the plan. This is nice. I really like this sheet because it shows, in this particular case, your actual versus working, and then your year-to-date. So when you go through this, if you look at this last column, this is your actual versus plan percentage, and this is a really nice feature because this shows a request from management to say, okay, here we talk about conditional formatting, and the threshold that management has requested was if there's anything greater than a minus 10%, you have to put a note in here and explain, okay, in this case, it's a car rental, right? We've got car rental over here. You have to explain why we didn't meet the threshold that was required by management to keep those numbers down. And here's the actual management that the message from management that you can see, and here's where it lists you must enter an explanation for any negative variance greater than the 10%. So I think this offers just really good communication, again, from those that are looking top down, and then those that are actually in the forest, so to speak, punching in the numbers and having to request and requiring them to communicate with the message and what's going on with the plan. Let's just jump down to the revenue plan, and this will be for products. And again, here we have a look at volume, price, gross margin for this revenue plan and for products. and you have the ability to make any of the changes in the white areas. These cells that are white, you can make updates, changes as you see fit. The gray area is more fixed coded, so you can't make any changes here. But let's pick one of these, and I'll show you the grid spread here. For example, we've got Q1. I'm doing a right click on my mouse. I'm going to adjust. I'm doing a grid spread here. We can show any changes that might need to be made across the Q1 period. So your January, February, March. You have the adjustment value here. We'll just keep it as is. It's by value, but you can put it by percentage. We're going to do an increase by 5, and we're going to do a spread across those cells. Here you have it highlighted in level, so it did in yellow, so it did do the grid spread. And this is nice if you're working with multiple years to make any changes and updates here. Now, I'm not going to save this data, so we'll continue on to the next one. And here's an example of services for your revenue plan. And again, you have the opportunity to make any changes that are needed. So it makes it real nice to be able to, for your end users, to have that flexibility and to have that data input at real time. We're going to move into operating expenses and the drivers that exist. So here we have, for this expense driver assumptions, are the drivers listed here as trips, your square feet. For HR, it's going to be the head count, your average salary, and employee benefit percentage. Once again, any changes that need to be made here for the business end user that's responsible for this task, and just do a right click on their mouse and make any changes or provide any comments needed. And this is also true for your headcount salary plan. Any changes needed can be made very easily, and again, keep the plan moving and going, as well as having that real-time updated information for the management team. Here's a good example of supporting detail. This happens to be under the capital expenditure plan for Vision. What you see here is a turquoise colored cell, and what that represents is that there's a number, there's other information underlying that provides us this number. I'm going to do a right click on here and hit supporting detail, and that's going to just tell us where this number derives from. And here you have, it's a new laptop. The units happened to be 4 at the cost per unit of $2,000. That's how we derive at that 8,000 number. So I think that is a real slick piece that they've added in here for PBCS. And then we have a look at your operating expense plan. Again, this is a good example of what we talk about is that conditional formatting. There might be a request from management, which in this case there has been, on why these numbers are the numbers that they've, apparently they didn't meet the threshold that was required by management. It's marked in red. Looks like the green ones are to go, so that's been a good thing. We've been able to manage some of their expenses and actually incur some savings here. But here's the message from management. You can just click on here, the data validation message, and it asks you, it says, your adjusted plan is considerably higher than the original plan. Please enter a comment. So that requires you to enter a comment here as a business end user. Next, let's take a look at an income statement. I think this is a good opportunity to introduce SmartView here. So what I'm going to do is pull up my Excel spreadsheet, and we'll take a look at SmartView and the capabilities that it has in working with PBCS. It's going to require me to sign in. It's just another added feature for security. So with that, just bear with me for a few seconds as I sign in here. Okay, great. So I'll be signing in so that we can see again the Smart View feature. We talk about those that use Excel. Again, I'm addicted to Excel. I use it every day. So it's going to be real nice to be able to work with Excel for those users that have to be and are more comfortable with Excel than any of the other tools that are currently out there. And it works in conjunction with PBCS real nice. So here's the income statement, and this is what we're going to be pulling up. And it's the exact information that we looked at when we were viewing PBCS. So here you have it in Excel. You've got all the capabilities of Excel. I'm going to click on Smart View just to show you that if you're wanting real-time data to be input into your spreadsheet, all you have to do is hit refresh here, and that will be updated. And then as you're working on your own spreadsheet, right, your own version of this particular task, and you want the data to be uploaded into the system, you just have to submit your data here. The other thing I wanted to mention too is that it's not just Excel that Smart View allows you to have real-time information going back with PBCS. It's other Microsoft products too, such as Microsoft Word and Microsoft PowerPoint also. So a nice add-in feature at no extra cost. So here we go back to the PBCS, and I'm going to just move along here to your review. Plan versus target, and I like this one again. This is again has the opportunity for that conditional formatting where management sees that you haven't met a threshold. You can make any changes here if the target variance percentage didn't meet what it was supposed to be as deemed by management. But this is really your working plan compared against your target, right? So the bottom up compared to the top down, and what that variance is. Let's take a look now at your financial reports. Just going to take a look at one of these examples so that you can see that it's boardroom quality reporting, as we call it. And in this case, I'm going to take a look at an actual versus plan example. So as I'm pulling it up, you keep in mind that these reports can be customized. In this case, we have this one that shows, again, your actual versus the plan. What's nice here is that you can put your own logo here up on the top left. It's got your standard information, when the report was run, the date, the time, and who is the owner there. So again, just nice boardroom quality reporting. Here's another look at another one of the reports that you can use. And I'm going to just go down here to submit the plan. So we've deemed that all the tasks have been completed. The users are ready to submit this plan to management. They will submit this plan. What's nice again on this dashboard is we're showing that it's 100% approved, so the plan has been completed. And then management's going to take a look at this and do a plan review. So again, management will verify that everything has been completed. These are the tasks that they're going to go through. They might want to look at some key performance indicators that will show a good example of where they're at with the plan and what information they want to compare against, which is, again, the target versus your working. So some good insight here for your management team to look at and to ultimately verify if they want to approve the plan. So in our case, management will approve the plan, and they'll again see another dashboard making sure that everything has been approved. We see here that it's been approved 100%. And you can look at this both in a bar chart type as well, and it shows the approved status. So thanks again for sticking with me through the demo. I know we've gone through this at a high level. Again, any of the questions that you might have regarding this, I can definitely help in terms of answering. We also have a senior consultant here with us today. His name is Lad, and he'd be more than willing to entertain any of the questions that you might have too that perhaps the sales guy won't be able to go into the detail with. I'm going to finish this off by going through again, the look and feel of PBCS has been years in development. It's been proven on-premise, as we've seen with the numbers that Oracle has been able to attain. You're looking at, now it's close to over 4,000 companies worldwide that are using the planning process, or using the planning Hyperion solution. And we talk about the less time for the forecasting process, right? We go back to a couple of the slides that we talked about earlier. That's really important because that's going to also mean less time gathering data, and ultimately for your management team, it's also going to mean less time analyzing the data so they can make real-time decisions. We talked with an organization that happened to be a university last week, and their data that they like to use happens to close at night when the employees go home, and then when the report is run first thing in the morning, they're looking for real-time data to make some decisions based on their enrollments. Here's the bragging rights for Hyperion to show some of their logos. You might recognize a few of these. So it's just good to know that you're not the first to be on this solution. This technology, again, has existed since the mid-90s, and no other planning and budgeting solution really can say that as Oracle can, and especially with the fact that they own 35% of the market. So you're in good hands is what I'm trying to say here with the Oracle solution and with those that have created the solution and listened to the employees previously, right, the business end users, the customers that needed to make changes and ask for different versions of the software. So you've got a lot of input from a lot of people in making this a best-in-class solution. With that, are there any questions that you might have? Right now would be a good time to do that. And once again, we've got Lad here, Matt Morvik, who's able to be here with us today. We thank you for your time, Lad. And if you have any questions, feel free to write them in at the console at this point.
Okay, IT has been working extensively with admissions for the past year to enhance the student experience.
One of the questions that came through was, is there an opportunity to create multiple plans? And that's an absolute yes. Yeah, there's different types of plans that you can create to compare against your working plan. So your business end users will have the ability to play around with the numbers and save their own plans. It doesn't have to necessarily be seen by everybody else. It's something that they might want to be working on that shows and meets some criteria that they actually want to use. So that is yes.
Yeah, I was just going to say, Jim, that basically, in general, what you have is you'll have scenarios, which is your plan, your forecast, maybe, for example, a 10 plus 2, or a quarterly forecast or monthly forecast, depending on what you guys need. But that's handled by what's called a scenario, and then each scenario, each plan, each forecast can have what's called multiple versions. And then you can also control who can see what by security. That's all fully customizable. Actually, all of this is customizable as far as how we name things, the way your dimensions are set up. Even these task flows are example task flows. But as far as being able to have multiple versions, have kind of your own private sandbox for a manager or for a specific group, those are all things that can be done as part of the implementation of the product.
Okay, great. Thanks, Lad. Thanks for adding on to that. The next question has, is there other companies that you can add onto this as well?
All again in the dimensionality. We can literally, this particular application was set up for departments, but they're set up in the entity dimension, so you can actually go in and when you have a new entity, you have a new product, you have new accounts, all those things are part of the administration. Metadata management is actually, there's some pretty strong metadata management features within the tool that allows an administrator or support person to add plans, add versions, add entities, add accounts, pretty much anything you can think of. And even you know, it takes a little more work, but you can even add new dimensions. For example, if you have, you want to start tracking products. You're not tracking your products now, but you want to, so you can add a product dimension. Usually that takes a little bit of outside help to get everything working correctly, but again, this thing is 100% customizable. Dimensionality, the rules, calculations that are done internally, all that, metrics, everything can be customized to each specific client's needs.
Excellent, excellent. Thanks again, Lad. So if there are any other questions, feel free to reach out or to, with your GoToMeeting dashboard, put those questions in there. I don't see any more at this time.